So I would like to invite the second speaker, and I'm going to listen well because I've read your biodata. There's a lot of experience you have done before. I mean, there's a lot of things you have innovated, and I want to listen from you. So, Mr. Young, or I call Mr. Robust, okay, we would like to invite you, and let me just go through something to introduce you. Actually, Mr. Young is a speaker and well known as among the innovators. So, a lot of innovators in Malaysia and around the world that you have participated, that he has participated, know his name. But they call Mr. Young as garage inventor. So, he also had been appointed the ambassador by Agency Innovation Malaysia, which is AIM, in 2010, and had a lot of awards awarded to him due to his innovation. Okay, Mr. Robert Young is also a believer and practitioner, and his own metaphor, I normally heard about thinking out of the box. This is thinking without the box. So without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Young to give your speech and share your experience with our VIPs.
All right, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Right, okay, I need to share the screen. All right, everything's good here. I think I need to. Right, good morning, everybody. This is what I'm going to show. Just for a short introduction, my name is Robert Young. I've been inventor, I think, since 1990s, right? So you should know how old I am. I started very young. Right? Some of my notable innovations, which I will share later. The first one is the polyclone instant rubber stamp machine, right? As you know that for people to make rubber stamps, it's quite a very tedious, very slow process, how to make rubber stamps, right? Then I have other invention like the green wizard probiotic plant fertilizer, which actually is a very simple more for application, right? It's in powder form where you just like apply like Ajinomoto while you're cooking, you just sprinkle on. So it makes innovation is about making life easier for people, right? So we have already marketed this almost all over the world, right? Even like Indonesia, Thailand, they actually market it through their own multi-level marketing programs, right? Of course, under their own brand, right? Okay. I will show you a short video, maybe a 2-minute video, which is taken from one of the viral websites. Maybe some of you have seen it, some of you don't. So just to share with you.
Dalam dunia serba moden ini,
you can see, right? You can hear the voice, right? The sound.
Teknologi yang telah dicipta bagi memudahkan kehidupan seharian kita. Tapi korang tahu tak, terdapat juga barangan harian yang kita gunakan sebenarnya dicipta oleh orang Malaysia sendiri. Malah ciptaan ini juga turut digunakan di seluruh dunia. Oleh itu dalam video kali ini, Faktau akan senaraikan pelbagai barangan harian dan teknologi yang terkenal di seluruh dunia yang dicipta oleh orang Malaysia. Jadi tanpa membuang masa, jom gunakan lawatan ke pameran. 10 barangan terkenal di dunia dicipta orang Malaysia. Mesin stamp cok getah. Sebelum wujudnya poliklon, kebiasaannya untuk menyiapkan sebuah stamp cok getah boleh memakan masa sehingga seminggu disebabkan idea Robert Young dan mengadaptasi teknologi percetakan yang beliau jumpa di Jepun. Maka terciptalah poliklon, iaitu sebuah mesin yang boleh menghasilkan stamp cok getah dengan kadar segera. Menariknya, ciptaan ini telah membuatkan beliau memenangi pingat emas di pertandingan mencipta antarabangsa pada tahun 1994 di Geneva. Selain poliklon, beliau juga mencipta barangan lain seperti pelekat nyamuk, baja, inkubator telur dan alat untuk membolehkan orang buta menaik menggunakan telefon pintar, di mana alat ini tersenarai dalam list dan seterusnya. 8. Telefon pintar orang buta. Masih lagi alat ciptaan Robert Young, Real Vision Touch, merupakan alat yang membolehkan orang buta menggunakan telefon pintar dengan mudah dan pantas, di mana mereka boleh menaik Sepantas orang yang boleh melihat telefon. Alat ini berfungsi dengan pengguna perlu memuat naik aplikasi Vision Touch yang terdapat di Google Play, di mana aplikasi ini akan menghasilkan susun atur kekunci pada skrin. Kemudian, pengguna perlu menggunakan pelekat dan ditampal pada skrin telefon, di mana pada pelekat ini terdapat tanda yang bertepatan dengan susunan aplikasi Vision Touch bagi membolehkan pengguna mengenal pasti kedudukan papan terkunci pada skrin. Yang menariknya, alat ini mampu membantu pengguna untuk membuat panggilan, menghantar mesej dengan cepat dan tepat, mengenal pasti kedudukan aplikasi di telefon mereka dan melayari laman web seperti Wikipedia dan portal berita.
All right, you can see how simple can be innovation, right? We do not actually, you see, to help the blind to use a phone. There was an innovation, I think in India. The innovator actually won the Rolex award or something for the innovation to make a phone for the blind to use. You know what is the concept? They actually come up with the concept of making the screen to be thermosensitive, means that you heat, as you touch it, the screen actually rise up or not raise up. No, it's so complicated. Things which are complicated will never be commercialized, right? You know, for a blind man to use a phone already a problem. So use something more high tech, it will cause more problem to them, right? So we should avoid this, I think. I will explain later. Okay, this is some of the awards which are won by Doesn't Matter, right? I think long time ago. Okay, other from being an inventor, I'm also a judge. I judge most of the competition locally and abroad, right? iTech, I'm sure you have iTech. We're actually having the iTech competition next week. Of course, I've been judging that for many years, right? So I gave a lot of talks. I also the judge of KIK, almost every one of them, right? Okay, let's start with something like that. So whenever somebody had come out with an innovation, everybody comes. And now they want to talk about innovation. The first thing we usually ask of them is that, how is it better than what is already available in the market, right? Are you going to solve a big problem or a pain or just an itch, something like this? That's a question we always ask them, right? So like Dr. Rama, is the product ready? If it's not ready, it's not an innovation. Innovation must be a ready product. An idea is not innovation. Idea is an idea, right? So what is so unique about your product? That is where the novelty comes in, right? How unique? Like I say, uniqueness will have, for us to make an invention of innovation. The reason is that we want to have something unfair advantage over your competitor. This is what you want to do. You want to be like, have a privilege, right? So we also ask them, what is your inventive step? You cannot say, oh, it looks better, it smells better, it tastes better. That is not important. So what is your inventive step? What, is it art or is it science? Art looks good, but it's not science. We want it to be scientifically, right? Based on a scientific fact. And the thing, well, I repeat again, is it done before? Have somebody done before? So, and most of people ask, oh, have you patented the innovation? We do not patent an innovation. We patent the principle of the innovation, how it is done, not what is done, right? Example, like if you say you have invented a car that flies, you cannot patent on the patent that a car that flies. So to stop people from making another car that flies, we cannot do that. We can only patent the mechanism that enable the car to fly, right? You cannot say that, oh, I will prevent other people from making a car that fly. You can't do that. But you only come with patent the mechanism, the part that enable the car to fly, right? So we have to clear about that. So what is the definition of innovation? Different people have different definition, of course, right? To the policymaker, for the government, everything, to the social thing, they say, oh, we must have high impact to the society. Of course, this is what they want, right? So for the marketeers, for the businessmen, we must have commercial value, right? For them, it's making money. For general public, oh, I see, oh, it must look good. Right? Different people, different type of opinion. And for the industrial player, it's, oh, it must be high tech, it must be revolutionized, 4.0, industrial revolution, IR, thing like that. No? For the inventor, right, as long as they come from them, this is innovation. So what is innovation? Innovation, it must be defined that it must be the first of a kind. That's where the novelty, right? It must have novelty, right? It must have an identity, right? Example, like people have been making cake. Cake have been a long time, right? The first cake is an innovation. But because, okay, you make something like chocolate cake. The second person to make a chocolate cake even tastes better. It is no more innovation. But if you are making ice cream cake, you can call it innovation because it's different. It's another type of cake, right? So you make a cheesecake, it's not a chocolate cake, right? It's completely, the recipe is completely different from making a chocolate cake, even it's still a cake. Of course, our Sarawak layer cake, right? It's different from the chocolate cake, right? So it's got its own identity and uniqueness. Of course, it must have an industrial usefulness, meaning that it's a usage. Somebody can use, somebody can buy. That's where the marketing is about, right? So it's not about, if we are talking about chocolate cake, you can say, oh, my chocolate cake looks better than what is in the market. It doesn't matter. Or it tastes better. It costs cheaper. It's more popular. That is not important, right? It's just a product, right? So innovation and product are different things. So innovation should be ideally, it must derive from a patentable principle. The idea must be patentable. So meaning it's new, right? As if you, of course, you must look back what qualify for patent. Patent must be, for your product to be patent, your idea to be patentable, it must be new, it must have an inventive step, it must have an industrial application, right? So preferably, innovation must come from a patentable principle. There must be have element of inventive improvement. It must have improvement with inventive steps. It must be past your R&D stage, meaning it's already a product, right? You cannot say, oh, I'm still testing the thing, I'm still experimenting, I'm doing R&D. That is not innovation. Innovation must be a ready product. So meaning it must be workable and usable. It doesn't need to be looks good yet. Maybe it's not even marketable as a product yet, but it must be a product that is ready for production, right? It must be productable, right? Meaning that you can actually produce a thing. You have everything. You have the principle, you have the knowledge, everything. And also, it must be duplicatable, meaning that someone else other from you must be able to do it, right? You cannot say, okay, I'm the best char kway teow in town. But if this thing, my skill cannot be duplicable, it's my skill. So something that is not duplicable cannot be an innovation, right? It's your own skill, your talent, right? So if someone else do it, even be as good, right? So the innovation must be duplicable. Someone else can copy. Of course, the copying is another matter, right? So also preferable, there must be industrial application. I think BERNAS is a must. But to be successfully commercialized, that is another matter, right? That's another stage. Of course, your product must be commercializable, must be able to commercial. But whether you are successful or not, that is another level, right? Some products are so good, some innovation are so good, but maybe the guy have a bad reputation. People don't like him, you know. So the thing wasn't successful. That is beside the point, right? Of course, as a business person, because I see all innovation, the reason for why someone want to invent, someone to produce innovation, is because of money. Let's be honest, right? It's a business. It's not about, it's a business. Innovation, we spend a lot of time, we spend a lot of money to make money, right? The end product is about market. That's very important, right? So it must be competitive. What we have done must be better, must be cheaper, must be more attractive to the user, to the buyer. Of course, it must be easy production. This, of course, this is preferable, not a must, but as an innovator, I would choose someone which has a product which is easier to produce, right? So, I don't have to spend 10 million. I don't have to build a factory thing. That is what I can do for myself. So only then the product will be able to realize your idea, right? I've seen a lot of workshops. They call it innovation workshops. Basically, go there. What they do, they teach you take recycled product, take recycled waste. They do art and craft, but they call it an innovation workshop. Are these innovations? It's a creative, beautiful. They're happy. It's creative, but you shouldn't call this innovation. This is not innovation. There is no inventive steps. There is no commercial value in what you have produced, right? So even like the robot, actually this is not a real robot, right? Like it's done by one of my friends, my good friend of mine. He actually is a eco type of art type of robot. He used recycled plastic thing. They make it into a very nice piece of art. It doesn't move, it doesn't talk, it doesn't do anything, but it's just a piece of art. You cannot call it as innovation. It's a piece of art and craft, right? So you can see the many workshops. People say, oh, innovation, I'm going to conduct innovation. If you go there, art and craft, no innovation, right? There are many creative products in the market. It just make, right? Let's say a water kettle, a water plant, to water plant. It just made in plastic. It looks good. It's a product. There's no inventiveness in the product, right? So good product doesn't mean it's an innovation. So all the time, people have been taking vitamin C, right? From orange, from fruits itself. Then someone come out with the idea that it make the vitamin in tablet form. The first one, I would say that's innovation. Then someone come out, oh, I make this flavor in apple. I make it in pineapple, whatever, I make it durian, whatever. You cannot call this innovation anymore. The first one, yes, right? So as you come in and say, oh, I judge a competition. I've seen people, okay, I make paper from petty husk. I make paper from old newspaper. You cannot keep, then everybody comes up with something, the raw materials which are new. Then they keep calling them innovations. I think they've lost the inventiveness already. The first one, yes. For the next and third and fifth, there's no more inventive steps. So we do not call this innovation. Example like the Apple iPhone, right? The first one that come out, well, of course, innovation, great innovation. But they just tambah sikit on improvement, I think, right? Just simple improvement, even up to 13, right? iPhone 13. There's no more inventive steps. It's still a phone, a better phone. Until the day it comes out with the banner phone, oh, this is something new from what it was previously. That is an innovation, right? Of course, even without innovation, it can still sell. I do not say that it won't sell, right? I won't say it's not marketable. But if you want to define innovation, it must be something, out of the box, without the box, whatever, right? In conclusion, innovation of product, again, I know what I repeat, Dr. Rahman said, it must have novelty. It must be something using an inventive approach. There must be a purpose, meaning that it's usable. There is a demand. The market wants it. Industrial want to use it, right? So there is a market potential for your product, right? Which is to solve problem in a creative way. It's not about, for us, if you work creatively, it's not about working hard. It's not about working longer hours. It's not that. We want to work it more easier. We want to, inventors must be lazy, right? They want to do things shortcut. They want to do things easier. This is why we invent, right? To make our life easier in a creative way. To pay people, it's not, of course, not we don't call it creative lah, right? Even let's say creative means what, or novelty, you can say, okay, I have a robot arm that have one arm to do welding, right? Okay, that is an innovation. You cannot say, oh, I just because I put 2 arms, then become innovation. I put 3 arms, it's faster. But this is not innovation already, you see. The first one, we call innovation. That is just improvement, the 3 arms, the 4 arms, then it goes 100 arms, right? This is no more innovation. The first one, yes. What about design, fashion? These are piece of art. It's nice. You cannot say, oh, this is all innovation. These are not innovation, right? There's no inventiveness. Right? It's just a piece of art. I think this is our common perception, right? Somebody or a nobody make something in the backyard, or they fabricate everything. Then somebody will come along, or newspaper will come along, oh, this is a great innovation. You know, this is not, because this is actually doing something. It's a fabrication, backyard, nothing, right? So people, let's say, Nilai would say, oh, Malaysia boleh. I say, I do not say Malaysia boleh. This one is Malaysia pun boleh. Right? They're actually copying what people have done. Right? He can do Malaysia. We have this thing. They can do. Saya pun boleh. It's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's not on the scale of innovation type. Right? You do not copy people and say, I make it better than Malaysia pun boleh. This is not Malaysia. Malaysia pun boleh. Right? It's not about low tech, even high tech. In China, they can make Ferrari. Are this innovation? It's an imitation. Imitation and innovation, they are different, right? It's good, I'm not saying it's bad, all right? I wouldn't say it won't sell, but to define innovation, we should minus this, right? Okay, Rahman, I think you know what it is, right? So I'm going to share you what is an idea, what is a good idea. I'm sure all the VIPs here, they have ideas, everybody have ideas, and everybody think the idea is the best in the world, right? Until the day they fail, then they blame whole world, right? Okay, what is dumps, right? Once you got an idea, the first question you should ask yourself, is it doable? Can the idea be done, right? You cannot say, oh, this idea is, oh, Japan have done it, America have done it, NASA have done it, but you are not Japan, you're not America, you're not NASA, mean you cannot do. At the end of the day, the thing cannot be done, right? It's just an idea. Or the thing need investment 10 million, you don't have 10 million. Right. So at the end of the day, it's not doable. Don't harp on it. Don't continue. Sometimes you need to give up, need to walk away from things which you cannot do. Right? It's a great idea, but beside the point. Right? So it must be doable. It must be usable. You can make, let's say, example, like this guy make a pencil 6 feet long. He can write, no problem. He test it out on lab scale, on the lab. It works very well. But can it be used? It's a different thing, right? Workable and usable is a different thing. If handphone today is still as big as your James Bond suitcase, it's not usable. Of course, there are few people use it, but it's not a commercial usable product, right? It must be usable. Not that it doesn't work, but it must be usable. And the most important, of course, it must be marketable. You give for free, people queue, no problem. But ask them to pay, nobody wants it. Right? Of course, you can sell one to your auntie, one to your uncle. This is not marketable, right? If marketable means that general, what is your target? You must achieve your whatever the scale of commercial level, right? It must be marketable. People must be willing to pay for it. It must be bankable. Bankable means that investors must believe in the thing, right? They are willing to invest in it. Right? Inventors and bankers, even to borrow money, I got this idea, go to the bank, and bank say, what is this? The rubbish. Then, of course, they won't loan you anything. You go to the VC, say, there's nothing new, right? So if you look for, without investment, your market will not grow. If Grab today, even a great idea, without the VC, without the investment, they will never be why they are today, right? Investors look for ROI. What is the return of the investment? right? So it must be something that is profitable. Bankable must be something, it's not about selling. Example, like if you make a product, your cost is 10 ringgit, you can only sell 11 ringgit, and the investment is 10 million, it's not a bankable idea, right? Nobody want to invest in that, right? It takes, right, too much investment, too slow in ROI, nobody will be interested, right? But if your product is 1 ringgit, you can sell 100 ringgit, well, everybody wants, everybody want to invest. Investors is not about making you rich, right? They are not there to make you rich. They want to make themselves richer. Let's be realistic in life, right? The people invest in you because they want to get richer. So the next one, it must be sustainable. Your idea must be sustainable. You cannot be an idea like say, oh, the lifespan is just 6 months, right? People invest in you 6 months later. Like, a lot of this multi-level type of product, especially the lychee, all this multi-level health food. The first, when they launch, they swear about the grandfather, right? That is the best idea in the world, right? Or everybody hoo-ha everything. In 6 months, 1 year, everything is forgotten, right? So is your product something sustainable? How big is the market? How long, is a lifespan? Is your product be that, or your product be like Panadol, like Milo, 100 years and still selling? We need things like that before you can actually get someone to invest, right? People look at it, how long, right? So your ideas, don't be a great idea, be a dumb idea, right? So your idea is like you're running through a gauntlet, people better to survive at the end of the day. This is reality. Right? People criticize, people condemn, so you must be able to survive. So as you survive, the rate, it doesn't still guarantee you success, but the chances of you being successful is higher, right? So before when you got the idea, maybe you go through this checkpoint, before you actually, this is what I do a lot of workshops on innovation, even from Ministry of Science, Ministry of, whatever, right? So I always use this as a yardstick to guide them, to whether, we do not want to have an innovator to have an idea where they spend so much time, so much effort, so much money. So when that happens after a few years, you ask them to give up the idea, it's very hard for them. It's like a baby already 3 years old, ask them to, so they become attached to the idea. They won't give up, they cannot give up, they cannot continue. That means it's a very miserable life, right? So for the day one, before it starts, they should, right, have a checkpoint. So whether this idea is workable, right? So this is my advice to whoever is watching this video, right? So do it yourself, your own swab test, right? Right, okay, this is my presentation. Thank you. So if you want anything, you're curious to know more, you can actually go to my website, or you can contact me directly. Right, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Yong. Robust. Thank you. I would like to emphasize a bit about, it was very interesting when you said innovation is about the first time. When we created something the first time, it has to be doable. It's supposed to be fall under dumps. It's not dumb, but dumps for meaning something. But the second time, if we upgraded the version or whatever, the new edition, we come up with new one, that is not called as innovation. That's called updating. And we can say that Malaysia pun boleh lah, bukan Malaysia boleh kan? So, all right. And dumb, this is interesting. Your innovation has to be doable, usable, marketable, bankable. That one is ROI. I like that so much. But you cannot, if we cannot make money, nobody wants to invest in our product, and we cannot proceed, and it has to be sustainable.